Man, it's one of those days. I recorded this video and my mic was not recording. So yeah, I guess I didn't really record this video. This is the second time of me going through the script. That's okay, we already practiced it. Here we go, guys. Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game number 2, has finally been released by Milestone, and today I'm gonna be giving you guys my initial impressions on the game. If you were lucky enough to pre-order the special edition for $70 US, then I'm sure you've hopped in and put in some laps on the game already. So let me know your thoughts on the game down below. Let me know in the comments if you're enjoying it or not. If you don't own a copy, maybe you want to see some reviews before making the decision. The game is going to be released on Friday, the full game that is, or I guess the official release, the world, I don't even know what you want to call it. The game's kind of already out, but then it's not for other people. But anyways, it's going to be released on Friday for $60 US, and I hope this video helps, like, at least a little bit. I hope it helps someone out there. I'm going to keep it simple, get straight to the point, so without further ado, let's get into it. I really want to focus on like the riding, how the bike handles and that kind of thing in this video, but I am going to touch on some other topics that I want you guys to kind of take note of as well. So I'm going to run through like my random ideas first, then I'll focus on the riding physics and give you guys a breakdown of my opinion on how the game actually plays. So here we go. If I'm honest with you guys, the game, it can be compared to the first game in many ways, but it is also very different in many ways as well. I think overall the game is good, but I'll have to see how I feel after some more gameplay, you know, like how am I gonna feel in a week, a month, you know, next year when the next game comes out. How am I gonna be feeling about this game? Am I gonna be feeling the same way? You gotta keep in mind I've only played about 3 hours so far, so as of right now I am kind of like in that, ooh man, I just got a new motocross game stage, right? So I am enjoying it, but keep that one in mind. Now starting off with the career mode, it's actually a lot more in-depth, and you can customize like your weekly agenda, if that makes sense. You can do things for promotion, you can meet the fans in the media, you can do training exercises, and you can even challenge the top riders in your class to a head-to-head race to build that rivalry even more. One thing I haven't seen yet is the ability to work out like they mentioned before. I think they mentioned it in like a Twitter video, but I could have just missed it. It could just be the fact that like the training exercises and stuff that you can do, they kind of build your riding ability, and that could be your working out. Like that doesn't really make sense, but I don't know, I haven't seen a way to actually go and work out yet. But like I said, I could have just missed it. Other than that though, the career mode is pretty similar to the career mode in the first game, but like I said, there's like a lot more to it. On a quick note, if you don't feel like doing the weekly agenda and all the new stuff in the career mode, if you just want to live a boring life, you can plan nothing for your days, and then you can head straight to the next weekend for the race. So that's pretty much like the career mode in a nutshell. It has some new features and it seems pretty fun, and I'm assuming that's kind of how it goes for both of the 250 classes and the 450 class as well. The game comes with a compound. It does come with the compound for you to explore, which it's actually pretty sweet, and this is going to be an interesting thing to talk about because there is something I don't really like about the compound. It cycles through a day and night cycle with lights that come on for you to be able to see at night, and I think that's really cool. I think that makes, you know, the compound what it is, kind of like that's a really cool aspect to the compound. It's just one of like the little things that makes the game what it is. A day and night cycle in your compound, you have all these tracks. It is sweet. Now of course the one thing I don't like about the compound is the fact that the tracks are actually locked at first, and it forces you to go in and race the career mode and do these challenges in order to be able to race on the compound tracks. Now the challenges that you have to do to unlock these tracks actually take place on these tracks, so you do get to experience them before you finish the challenges to unlock them, but it is kind of like a weird setback to what could be like an awesome starting area. If we could have access to the full compound right away, right from the get-go, I think it would be more user friendly that way. Like imagine someone that hasn't really played the game much, they just want to hop in, kind of learn the physics, play around on a track and learn the game. It would be really beneficial if they could hop in and even just free ride on the tracks, right? I think the compound could have been done a little bit different. Maybe they lock the races, let you free ride on the tracks until you do the career challenges to unlock the ability to race, but you have the ability to free roam and free ride on the whole compound, any track. And I think that would have been a good way to do it. The compound is pretty sweet though. It has a ton of different lines defined in like these wooden structures with big gaps to hit. So really, it's like a moto paradise at our fingertips. We just have to unlock part of it. Other than the tracks being locked, I think the compound is a good addition to the game, and it gives us more content, more tracks, and simply just more stuff to do within the game. If you're like a hardcore fan, a hardcore gamer, you might like the challenges. You might actually like the challenges that you have to do to unlock the compound tracks, but I can see how like on the other side of things, the relaxed gamer could find it like frustrating, and they just want to hop in, cruise around on a compound, ride some tracks, and have some fun with it, not necessarily do a career mode in races. Moving on from there, I want to talk about the customization within the game. The overall system for like customizing your bike and rider, it's the same as the first game. Some menus have changed. I would say like the whole menu has got a redesign, but the concept of customizing your bike and your rider is the exact same. You know, you can customize everything. And while there are a ton of updated parts, components, and gear for you to choose from, a lot of the stuff can already be found in the first game, which to a certain extent is pretty understandable with certain things like exhausts, you know, because new models aren't necessarily coming out every year, but like gear, that's kind of a different story. Like, I think the game should have all the newest gear on the market for the brands that are in the game, and it's kind of sad to see like a ton of repeats. Another thing to note is that you can't choose a number that any other pro rider has when you're setting up your rider profile, and I kind of understand like not being able to use that number in a career race or even a championship, but I think it would be, you know, kind of cool if we could have any number we want on our rider profile, and then when we go into a championship, we could then choose our new number that, you know, isn't taken by a pro rider, and choose our sponsors and then hit the track. I think it would be cool if there was a little change to that. Like, imagine being able to go into a single player with, you know, the number that you want, and then when you go into career mode, you have to choose another number because someone else has your number. Like, I understand that that would be a cool system if it worked that way, but it simply just doesn't allow you to choose a number that is being taken. Like, take this for example. I'm sure I'm not the only one, and it kind of does suck for me being 211. I'm number 211. I run that in real life. I've ran that in every game that I've ever played, and having it taken by Tevin Tapia is just a bummer. Like, I'm not really bummed about not being able to run that number in a career mode because he could potentially be in those races, but I think it would be cool if I could go in and make my own character and have that number. It's not like game breaking, but I mean, man, I haven't been anything other than 211 in years, but it is just like, it's one of those things that it's not game breaking, it's there. All in all though, the customization, it's nothing too special. It's pretty much what we can expect for a moto game, and if you've ever played the first game, then just picture like an updated menu for all of those customization options with some new items in there as well. Now, finally guys, the riding. You guys all want to know about the bike physics, I know that, and I'm gonna be honest here. I'll get this one out of the way. The whips, the whips are garbage, guys. You can take those, crumple them up, put them in the trash, take them out to the curb, and leave them for the garbage man, okay? Supercross 1 was definitely a better whip motion. The game, I mean, this game just has a super wonky whip animation, and it honestly just sucks. That's pretty much that. I'll leave it at that. Now, the bike handling is actually really different than Monster Energy Supercross 1. I would say it's like a mix of the first game and MXGP Pro, but even that doesn't seem to fit the way the bike seems to feel. Like, the bike has its own feeling to it. It almost feels like more MXGP Pro, kind of. I don't even know. The bike handling on the ground feels really good, and you almost have to ride slower in order to go faster. Your cornering takes time, and you can't really rail the corner wide open like in the first game. You have to find that new flow. Like I said, going slower makes you go faster, and being smooth is probably like the most important part of racing in this game. They found a way that I personally enjoy to make mistakes and crashes costly in the long run. Any mistakes in rhythm sections will cause you to lose all of your speed, and you'll have to kind of regroup to find that flow again. After crashing, it takes you a little bit of time to get going again, and it almost seems like it's kind of a penalty for going down, and it seems fair. I like it. You have to ride smooth. You have to also be careful about casing and over jumping jumps, because with the less forgiving physics, the game, I mean, the physics, they're just not forgiving. You can't really actually case or over jump or you're gonna crash. You can actually crash from hard landings in this game and you will go down. I haven't really ran into any like BS crashes though, like that's probably a good thing. You know, the MXGP Pro style of crashes where you don't even do anything and you go down, you just let go of the bike. I mean, I haven't had any of those, yet the physics aren't as forgiving as the first Supercross game. Like I said, you can case jumps and go down, you can flatland and go down. You have to be smart with your riding. All in all though, I have no complaints about the game. No complaints. It is going to be like a learning curve when you first pick it up, but I think it's like a good learning curve. The game definitely takes more skill than the first one, and I feel like it takes more patience as well, if that makes sense. It feels a little more slow, a lot more slow paced. I don't know if you can tell in the gameplay or not, but I feel like the game is designed for smooth riding. Like, does it look slower in the gameplay? It feels slower when you're playing it, but the game is designed for smooth riding, and smooth riding is what wins races, boys. Like I said before, I can't really compare the game to anything else on the market right now. It really does have its own feel, and I personally enjoy it. That's my personal opinion though. You guys might have a different opinion. Like, if you're a fan of the first game and a fan of MXGP, then I think you will definitely enjoy this game. I think you will be a fan of this game. But on the other side of things, I feel like the people that don't like the MXGP style of gameplay are not going to enjoy this game. It definitely has like an MXGP feel to it, but I feel like they nailed it with this one. Like, it's its own unique feel, which kind of puts it out there in its league of its own. Like, it's on its own level. If you're looking at buying the game and you can't really decide if it's worth the money or not, I think it really is personal preference. If you're looking for a game with, you know, big whips and wide open gameplay, this is not your game, man. This is not your game. If you want a game that takes a little more skill, a little more patience and rhythm in order to go faster, you know, you want a game that actually kind of challenges you, then this might be just the game for you. It is an arcade style game, but it takes a little bit of skill to get around that track in first place. Just to wrap it up here, I have no complaints so far, but I am keeping in mind the fact that I've only played a few hours, like 3 hours of gameplay so far. Will my opinion be the same in, you know, a week, a month? What about next year when hopefully Supercross 3 is released? You know, how will I feel about the game? What am I not going to like about this game at that point in time? Right now I'm all like, oh yeah, the game's awesome, only because it's like my first week with the game. It's my first day with the game. I'm obviously loving it, and the more we play it, the more things we're gonna notice, and I'm kind of in that like hype stage right now. So that's why if you guys want me to redo this video after I've got like a few more hours in the game, let me know down below in the comments. If you have any questions, things for me to look for in the game, drop them down below as well. Don't be scared to leave a comment, guys. I'll be happy to help you out. I am going to be uploading a ton of gameplay and streaming this game a ton, so subscribe to stay up to date with what's going on. Follow me on social media, linked down below, guys, in the description, and I'll catch you guys all later. Peace out.